I guess HBO has this series,
Hollywood Demons.
Hollywood Demons, which I guess is like the dark side of the ring for like Hollywood, obviously.
Yeah, I was looking on IMDb, and it was called. The episode is called Dark Side of the Power Rangers. So in the Spanish version, that's what it's called.
Wow. Yeah, because they have a similar series on A&E that's for wrestling, Dark Side of the Ring. This is obviously about Power Rangers. It seems, from what I've been seeing online, a lot of people are like, oh, it's very much like ground that's already been treaded.
Yeah, it's pretty
wrapped up nice. Nothing really new if you're a fan that's been following any kind of like the background stuff.
Yeah, I've watched about half of the episode today on my break. They get into the first Yellow Ranger that shot the pilot and how sketchy that was. Talking about Amy Jo just crying on set because they were just filming 12 to like 14 hours a day. They were doing their own stunts, and they're like, oh yeah, she would just start crying, and then she'd walk away for 12 minutes and come back and be fine. The Red Ranger killing the dude with the sword. They really got into that one a lot. You got the details on that.
Yeah, it's the Wild Force, I believe. The Red Wild Force Ranger.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one he was. Yeah,
or is it the Lost Galaxy? It might be Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, they had Jason Fount on there. He's got like a very positive story, showing his kid wearing My Daddy's a Power Ranger shirt, showing all his red memorabilia.
Yeah, he's one of the better members of the community.
Yeah, he just seemed like a really cool guy in there. Like, he had like a pretty positive light on it, and a fairly dark documentary so far. But it's a really interesting watch. So I highly recommend it. It's episode 3 of Hollywood Demons. I'm gonna finish it out tomorrow. Maybe we'll bring it up on one of our next shows, and we'll talk about it a little more once we watch the whole thing. Yeah. But it's definitely an interesting, fascinating watch, and seeing what happened behind the curtain of this incredible series.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm interested to see, what they do cover with it. I'm like, are they going to cover the David Yost stuff? Are they going to cover... which seems like they're not going to, seemingly, any of the JDF Boom Studio stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt they're going to want to tread that, especially with, his passing. I think that they're going to tread on whatever he did very lightly, because he has done a lot of very positive things for the community.
Yeah.
There's people on record saying that the guy's a complete egomaniac. But despite that, he actually did a lot of good things as well. He employed a lot of former Rangers. He was kind of like the first, really big like convention circuit guy. And, for a while, a lot of the newer Rangers, when we're talking about like Mega Force on, a lot of the things that Saban would do to sign on them is just like, yeah, it's a non-union production. You're not going to make a lot of money doing it, and you'd be working for like 3 months straight, 20 hours a day. But you will be able to make a living off of the convention circuit. Look at what this guy's doing. And that, that was the thing for a while, and those convention circuit people, they became a tight-knit group. Yeah. And, I feel like you don't see them making as much appearances, and then even with Paramorphicon kind of like languishing, who knows? But like, I remember when we'd watch interviews with newer Rangers, which they couldn't do interviews until their series was over. They would say like, I'm excited to start hitting the convention circuit. Like that was like a frequent thing, and that was up until Beast Morphers I was seeing those interviews, because they weren't allowed to do any press while their series was running. And then kind of like one of the big outlets, I can't even remember the name of the channel. It was like a YouTube channel that like exclusively they would interview every single Ranger, like always. They got the greatest interviews. And like the guy was just like one day like, done with the channel. Channel's over. I got a job somewhere else doing something else. And I was just like, and that was it for like Power Ranger coverage. Like seeing interviews with the Rangers.
Yeah, I feel like I know a lot of people like it's dead, but I feel like maybe if this Disney reboot, I mean, even though they're just kind of hosting it, like it's still gonna be Hasbro's money behind it. I don't know the details of it for the reboot, but I feel like once this reboot comes along, maybe it'll start picking up again the cons and everything.
I think the thing that they need to do is just step away from Mighty Morphing at this point, because it's getting retreaded over and over and over again. And I think people see it now, and I'm not even talking about the fan base. I think the general audience, because that's what you need to revive this, you need a general audience. They see Mighty Morphing and they roll their eyes. You know, it's played out. They don't want any weird Sentai stuff. I know it's going to offend people, but like, just create new original costumes with original Rangers with a very open concept that kids love. Space, cars, dinosaurs, animals, something basic.
Cars, didn't you kind of drop off after Turbo?
No, so Turbo. So, oh my god, I'm blanking on the series. It was like one of the most successful ones. Not Dino Thunder.
SPD, no, SPD wasn't Cars.
SPD. I'm like 100% blanking on the series. This dick. Give me 1 second. RPM.
Oh, yes.
That was the most successful one that they did. And that was the last Disney season.
Oh.
That was RPM. And it had a lot of actual real actors that came out of it and had successful acting careers after being in Power Rangers.
Isn't one of the dude from Jessica Jones was in there? Right?
Equal Darvel. Yeah. He was the Red Ranger.
Yeah.
And then... he
was incredible in Jessica Jones.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what happened to him. I think there was he got blacklisted or something. I don't know what happened to him. But Rose MacGyver is the big...
Yeah.
And Adeline Kane was also in that series.
Wow.
I was trying to look because I was I know there's some pretty big names in it. Those are the big three that came out of it. It was Ika Dalrymple, Adeline Kane, and Rose MacGyver. Rose is still in. She's in Ghost on NBC. She's still on network television. That was their most successful season. That was a Disney season, and that's actually what caused Saban to rebuy the series. And be because that was supposed to be the last season.
Oh.
And it was so successful that they were okay, there's still some money here to be had. And that was kind of the note for Power Rangers Forever was that they would get canceled. The last season would be amazing and they'd get renewed. That happened a couple times.
Yeah.
So I think that's just what they need to do.
Yeah. I mean, it is a cash cow. I mean, in the documentary they mentioned how it's even back in the 90s, it was $1 billion franchise, which for then was a lot of damn money. Today it's a lot of money. Back then it was an asinine amount of money. Yeah. And they were listing all the things that it beat in revenue for toys and everything, and it was crazy. And just there's a lot of money to be made there, so we'll see what happens. I know you said Hasbro's everyone's tired of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It sounds like the roadmap for this Playmates toy line is they're gonna do everything. The first 2 years is gonna be Mighty Morphin, but supposedly you're getting everything, every monster, everything that you could ever want from the series. You're getting the figure of, which is cool. If you're a completionist and you're oh, right now I can finally get this figure. Maybe there was ones that they didn't make back in the day, or they were just only Sentai figures that you had to import. You're going to be able to get those figures now, which is pretty cool. And the stuff actually looks pretty decent, but they do say that once we finish that, we're going to move on, and they're not going to stay with Mighty Morphin forever, toy-wise, but yes, we're going to be getting the rethreads of Mighty Morphin for 2 years, I believe.
But even then, they just said, we're going to milk this thing dry for 2 years. Well, they're going to see where we go from there.
Yeah.
But, it's, we always talk about Power Rangers. We're fans. Red Ranger had a cool return on Sentai with his little robe cape thing that's the size of his Megazord. I don't know. That was weird.
Everyone's like, it makes no sense, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like one of those, it's so dumb and it's brilliant. They're like, dude, we know it's a Megazord. Why does it need a cloak?
To farm aura, man. It's for the aura farming.
Yeah. But, that's really cool. Sentai's going wild over there in Japan. They did just go global, so there is a chance that we might be getting some Sentai over here soon. Like, the Ultraman Sentai Kamen Rider. That would be cool if we got, like, a channel on YouTube where we could watch weekly. That would be insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they haven't done it.
I don't know either. I can only think that there's some type of agreement with the whole Power Rangers thing that's like, you have to keep in this market or whatever. I have no idea.
They've been doing their own things, though, now for years. They're separated. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, the last season that they did for Power Rangers,
was the
and I'm not talking about... Well, I guess I am kind of talking about Cosmic Force. But the costumes are different.
Yeah, they
just
used
borrowed
the Zords.
The Zords are from like a 10-year-old Sentai season. Yeah. Like, not even anything...
That season that was from, they had badass costumes.
They did. That's why everyone was upset.
That's why I was like, oh, man.
That's why everyone was upset. Because they were like, they took the coolest season and just took the weird orb Zords and not the cool costumes that link with those weird orb Zords.
Yeah.
And instead of there being like 12 Rangers, there's like 5.
Yeah. What can you do, man? But yeah,
and then the last words of the series was Coolio or something like that.
But hey, you never know. There's always a little bit of life to breathe back into it. So